our failboat, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully taking the trash and the shit and the filth and the garbage that makes up our assembly and state senate. Hopefully they're shipping it out to God knows where. Actually, I don't want to know where. And there is the United Nations, where Hillary Clinton will basically sign away our rights, starting with the Second Amendment. Speaking of Second Amendment and Albany, I've got to talk to you about a little something. Okay, now that I have my script out, I can tell you what that something is. It's a little garbage piece of legislation that is known as Senate Bill 6005 or 6005A, also known as microstamping. Yeah, it's a brainchild of some asshole up there named Schneiderman. Anyway, this little piece of legislation calls for all semi-automatic pistols to be capable of leaving a geometric or alphanumerical code or stamp on a spent shell case fired from said pistol. Now, any pistol or handgun manufactured in New York State must be capable of doing so, and all pistols and handguns delivered to the state of New York must be able to do so, or basically you'll face a fine or even get arrested. Well, California has it on their books, and they say it's bullshit. And now this Schneiderman asshole wants to make New York fall off of that cliff also. Now, I'm gonna tell you why this is bullshit right now. Number one, the markings, even in testing phases, and currently how it is now, the markings, that's the stamp on the spent shell case, most of the time came out illegible, meaning you wouldn't be able to read it. Not even under the most powerful of microscopes, you cannot decipher it. So if law enforcement would be solely depending on this piece of technology to catch someone doing crime, they'd have an even longer search doing this than good old-fashioned police work. By the way, good old-fashioned police work works. What do we have next? We have, and over time, the laser etched pin, that's how they put the code on the end of the firing pin, the lasers. The laser etched pin will wear down with time and use. Now, if you're an avid shooter and you're basically at the range every day, going through 100 plus boxes of ammo, yeah, your firing pin is gonna take a beating over time, and over that time, your microstamp on the end of your firing pin wouldn't even be there. Now, the law says your handgun has to be capable of leaving a stamp. Now, if your handgun is no longer capable of leaving a stamp, that will make you a criminal. It's the dumbest shit. Number 3, the stamp cases can be collected and used to contaminate crime scenes by, not so scrupulous people, otherwise known as criminals. This is a rare event, but it happens. Not even with shootings, but with basically any other crime, you know, beatings, firebombings, stabbings, bludgeonings, whatever. You know, somebody will basically throw down something, you know, throw off the investigating officers, which would happen if this was the case, because they would be looking at some poor bub who basically spent the weekend at the range and let off a couple hundred rounds, and you know, didn't bother to pick up his brass if he cares to do so. So, you know, it could be collected by anyone and used to throw off the police officers investigating the crime. That's really bad. Now, oh, and another criminal act. This can be easily defeated. All you have to do is disassemble your weapon, take the firing pin out, take a nail file or sandpaper or grinding wheel, just file off the damn microstamp. Or at least wear the pin down to basically the pin either cannot leave a stamp or won't have a stamp anymore. Or you could just save yourself a lot of grinding time and just switch it with a firing pin that doesn't have a microstamp on it. All it takes is a few minutes. 1, 2, 3, and you're done. Anyway, and if this goes through, the legal owner of a microstamped handgun, let's say he has his firearm stolen, he does the right thing, he reports it. You know, and he's waiting, you know, feverishly, you know, saying, where's my handgun? Who has my handgun? Oh my God. What if some scumbag has it? You know, stuff like that. And lo and behold, his stolen handgun is used in the crime. And the police find they pick up the shell cases and, you know, they put it under a microscope and they read the microstamp. And, you know, they match it up in their little computer system and say, oh, look at this. John Q, son of a bitch, 123 Deadwood Lane. Let's go get him. Okay, Mr. Son of a bitch, your microstamp came up in a crime. You're under arrest for murder. See what I'm saying? Oh, that's if you could read the damn stamp. Remember, most of the stamps came out illegible. I don't think the police department and the district attorney's office can afford to be wrong by, you know, a couple of misshapen numbers or letters or whatever have you. What else do we have? Oh, and the price of firearms will skyrocket if this technology is voted in place. And what I say by that is either the stamp will be stamped in the stamp will be placed in on the shell cases by the firing pin, and also somewhere else in the barrel of the firearm. So to do that takes a lot of money, and there's only about one person in the United States that is capable of doing this with the technology that is needed, because he's the only one that has this technology. So it would be a fucking monopoly on firearms.